Alvin Law, man. Welcome to Time with Mickey today. We're glad to have you, man.
Everybody wonders what the heck I'm doing. I don't have any arms, so I got to give the old foot wave. But
Yeah.
I got to tell you this part, man. I know you don't brag about your Grammy. You should. But I'm going to brag for a second. In 1978, our little band, and this is really important, you hear this, our little band was incredible because not only was Blaine McClary a great band director for me, he was a great band director for everybody. And here's a story I got to tell. Yeah. Since Blaine McClary came to Yorkton and left, there are now 235 music and band instructors in the world teaching music because of him. 235. Wow. That's what kind of influence he was on more than just me. Yeah. But in 1978, we were ranked in the top 5 bands in Canada. So we got to compete in a national competition they called Music Fest. And I was selected lead chair trombone for Canada's national all-star high school jazz band. And we played a concert backing up a guy from Canada named Maynard Ferguson.
I was about to say, yeah.
To be able to play with Maynard Ferguson was a thrill beyond words. Here's the point. I didn't just become a better musician. I became a better human being because of music. Yeah. And even though we're struggling right now, I'm telling you, there's no positive spin to this, brother. But what there is a jaded expression. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And I know people hate that. A lot of people hate that. But for me, it's a blessing. I have no arms. It is what it is. I was homeless at 5. It is what it is. 5 days. I was adopted by elderly people. It is what it is. Everything is about it is what it is.
That's good. That's good. You know, you said that phrase, it is what it is. I don't think it's a coincidence that the most powerful words start and finish that statement. It is. And despite everything, it is. I'm sharing that today because, yes, it is what it is. But most importantly, it is. And that when I say it is, it's about possibility. I was teaching. Look, Alvin, man, I was teaching a young lady in my beginning band. She's a little 6th grader. She kind of has a Forrest Gump kind of vibe. Okay. Young ladies, you know, I'm not going to say she's not the brightest, but she just has a Forrest Gump kind of vibe. Like she's just got a particular way of looking at things. And coincidentally, she would always talk about Mama said, Mr. Smith, Mama said, you know, Mr. Smith, my mama said, everything was Mama said. And one day we were playing clarinet and we were trying to cross the break. All my band directors out there know the struggle of crossing the break with beginners. And it's a difficult task. And we were working on it. And one of the little boys said, I can't. And I have a little running joke, you know, like that is the one word you can't say in the band hall. Right. So when he said it, I started shaking and kind of convulsing and scratching and doing just weird mannerisms, almost to show that, oh my goodness, something's wrong. Like, get it off of me, you know, just kind of being silly. And it's my little shtick because I'm pretty serious looking in class. So all of a sudden, a little boy looks up. I said, y'all have to excuse me. It's that word. It's that word. Oh my goodness. And I'm shaking and jumping around. And some of the kids started getting the humor and they laughed. I said, man, that word is so bad. I don't even want to say it. And one of the kids was like, it's can't. He said, I can't. We don't say that in here. And one little kid said, and they all laughed. And the little girl raised her hand, man. And she said, Mr. Smith, my mama said, can't means won't. I said, what?
Ooh.
She said, my mama said, can't means won't. And I sat there and thought about it for a second. I'm like, that is one of the most powerful things I've ever thought, because in my mind, I just kind of ran a few scenarios and there was literally no scenario where I said, I can't, where it didn't actually simply mean I won't. And that director called that first time. And when he talked to your mom, he had can't, but then hung up and thought, won't. And I think if we can take that mindset of how I can't simply means I won't and look for the possibilities and look for the opportunities, then we can find the next Alvin. We can find that next kid whose teacher writes in the report card, talks too much, draws too much, makes too much noise, C&D student. Now I'm named as a top educator for the country. I would love to have been a fly on the wall when that teacher saw this.
Positive, grateful energy comes from a source that means I love my life. And if there was ever a time when we need to encourage kids to find something to love, it's now. Get them to love music. Get them to appreciate practicing. Get them to put on albums and try to mimic the sound. I mean, that's exactly how I got to be the best in Canada. I was playing along to albums by Woody Herman and Stan Kenton, great trombone sections. I would figure out in my head what they were playing. I'm wearing my favorite band's shirt,
man.
Chicago, right? I'd play along to the music of Chicago with my feet. But more than anything, I love this expression. You gave me a new one today, man. I discovered my authentic sound. Me, the Alvin sound, right? It wasn't about how I played with my foot. It was about how I styled and about how I mimicked, but more than anything, how I learned to love the music. I just loved the music.
What are some 3 maybe powerful words you could share with us that we can just kind of put in our pocket, so to speak, and keep in our spirit in those difficult times? 3 words that can help bring meaning to this crazy time that we're in, and also maybe provide some direction.
I got it. You didn't have to think about it. Yes, I can. So while we're on the topic, let me move back here and let me explain exactly what I'm talking about, because this is not a novelty. All right. I think your audience in particular today will appreciate it more than most of my audiences who may not be as versed in music. But check this out. All right. But what I want to do is something a little bit metaphorical. Yes, I can is one expression. Here's the other one. One day at a time. Like one hit. One hit. Story. Believe it or not, I actually played Liberty DeVito's drums with Billy Joel back in the 80s. I played with the band. I really did. At a jam session, at a sound check before a concert. I played with Billy Joel. Wow. And you know what Billy Joel told me after he watched me play the drums? I swear to God he said this in his New York accent. You better not quit your day job. He said that. He goes, you're okay, but you're never going to be Liberty DeVito. And with due respect, young man, you have, he used the F word. I'm not going to use the F word. But he said, you have no effing arms. You're never going to be as good as my drummer, but don't take it personal. Here was the most important line of the day. He said, I didn't tell you to quit, though. Just don't worry about being a professional. Play for the joy and the love of the music. Man. We've got to live our words. You know, and I know it's easy to get in a bad mood. I know it's easy to get grouchy. I know it's easy to feel the stress of your life. I acknowledge that. But if you let that dominate your mental health, you're not going to be the best teacher. Yeah. And if I may suggest this, you may have your challenges, but think of what the challenges of your kids are too. We're all in this together. You know the gift of COVID? What's that? Never, ever in the history of planet Earth have we been united by a common thing.
Yeah, yeah.
The common thing is COVID, but we are united by a common thing. Black, white, Chinese, whatever we are, doesn't matter, because COVID is about humanity. And that's why I talk the way I do. This is not contrived. I remember one of the most important things I learned growing up is it doesn't matter what's on the outside. It's what's in the heart, what's in the soul, and what's in the mind. You master those 3, everything will take care of itself.
Man. Well, you have definitely blessed our heart, our soul, and our mind today. This has been phenomenal. And my thing is, you know, listening to you is just good reminders to focus in on what really matters and not allow distractions to dominate, you know, dominate and distract you from seeing the significance, not just in the moment, but for those that we're charged over, whether it's ourselves, our heart, or whether it's the hearts and minds of those young people that are in our classrooms. They matter. Matter of fact, they matter more than the subject matter, particularly in this season. And when we can show that significance, that's what someone did for you. That's what someone did for me as well. And I call it a privilege and an honor to share this space with you today. And man, I can't say it enough. You just absolutely brought such a blessing in this season. And if you're watching this today, I hope that you too were blessed and enjoyed this, because like you said, this is authentic. This just is time with Mickey. It's not scripted. It's not rehearsed. We're just talking about life and making the most out of this thing called life, particularly in these perilous times. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say a big thank you to my good friend Tom Taylor for bringing us together, man. Teachband101.com, man. This has been a joy to be able to connect with great folks and for a greater purpose, and that is uplifting everyone in our noble profession called education. So,
but at the end of the day, one of the things that I am blessed by is our relationships. You know, you mentioned Tom. Well, you know, just real quick, I know we're out of time, but you know, it's funny. Willie Connell is also another name that I admire greatly. Willie Connell orchestrates and puts together a spring music festival for students in Western Canada at the Banff School of Music in Canada, which is now closed. But Willie knew about me because he knew about my history in Saskatchewan, playing the drums with my feet. He brings me out to speak to the group every couple of years. This year, they're not having it. So he decides to get me to do a video to send to Tom. Tom says, boy, you got to meet this other guy that I know. So we get to meet here. You know what? When you open the portals of joy and love and gratitude, it's amazing what can come down the pipeline. That to me is the most important thing to remind your audience today. Yes, COVID's bad, but you, folks, you are good.